And it goes red, and I guess that's... All right, thank you. They were telling me that before that I should put this around my neck, push the button, and then it records everything I say, and it even videotapes what I'm saying. And I said, the last time I did this, I didn't realize that I hadn't turned it off, and I went to the washroom. Not a good move. And anyway, Dan, thank you very much for the introduction. And let me say thank you to you and your corporations, and to have a sponsor who really cares about active living and people like us who are involved in promoting that. We are very fortunate to have ethical people like you running those corporations. So thank you very much for standing up and supporting us and for being here. So I can't tell you how excited I am to be in a room with other people who have the same values, the same philosophies, and want to live life to the fullest like I do. I'm a guy who has many dreams, just as you. You have a lot of dreams, but my dreams have come true. And tonight I want to share some of the reasons that those dreams did come true with you. Not that you should follow in my footpath, but that you should create your own trail. Follow your own footsteps. Follow your own dreams. And build what you want to build around who you are, what your values are, and what you stand for. So tonight I'm going to take you through a little journey. Now remember that as you come to a conference like this, you're going to get lots of ideas. But you must tailor those ideas to yourself. Make sure you take from the cream of the crop and utilize what will suit you. Not everything will suit you. So tonight I'm going to share some of my experiences with you and tell you how I got to where I am. I have the best job in the world. I get up in the morning and I love to go to work because I work with young people like you. And I work in active living. And I share my philosophy with these people. So let's start way back in my first year of university. Are any of you in first year university? All right, good. I won't tell you, but I've been in university for over 30 years now. I'm still trying to pass, but I'll get there one day. All right. One day I'm going to graduate. I love it so much I just do not want to leave. So here I am. But I'm going to start in my first year of university, and it was right here in the city of Accra in West Africa, Ghana. And you know, I'm only going to tell you this because I'm going to tell you how my life changed dramatically when I was in Africa. My father was sent there as a principal of a school and to train a local person to take over as a principal after he left. And so I decided to go to university right there in Accra, the University of Ghana. But while I was there, I heard about an Outward Bound school. Have any of you heard of Outward Bound? Good. Outward Bound is, they take outdoor activities and build character as you participate in those activities. Very, very exciting movement. So I heard about Outward Bound, and Outward Bound was in Nigeria, up here on the Josh Plateau, Man of War Bay in Nigeria. So I wrote to them and said, hey, how do I get to come to your Outward Bound school? Can you believe it? They sent me a scholarship. I was on it right now. And I started the 1,500-kilometer trip from here all the way over. I was a student like you, so I didn't have much money. So I hitchhiked across these 4 countries here and finally arrived in Lagos. Got to Lagos and I decided I'm going to catch a train to the south end of the Sahara Desert, away up here in Kano. This is where the camel trains come off the Sahara Desert. And I'll never forget sitting there and watching the hundreds of camels coming in burdened down with their laden of all the goods that they were bringing off the desert. So after hitchhiking, I decided I'm going to catch a train up here. Well, I went to buy a third-class ticket because I couldn't afford anything else. I went there and they said, oh, no. You can't buy a third-class ticket. I said, what do you mean? Here's my money. No. If you're white, you cannot ride in the third-class cars. So I said, well, I can overcome that. And I just gave my money to another buddy of mine, and he bought my ticket, and off we were gone. And we're traveling north on the train, and I'm loving it. Third class, windows open, smoke blowing in our face, and traveling ever northward. Actually, by the time I just got a little ways outside of Lagos, I melded in very well because all the black soot from the engine came back, and the people didn't even know I was different. All right. So when I got to the Outward Bound school, My goal in going to the University of Ghana was to get a science degree. Why did I want a science degree? I want to be a dentist. A dentist. Can you imagine? There were two reasons I wanted to be a dentist. One was because I was going to earn lots of money. And secondly, because I would have lots of free time to go and do what I wanted to do with the money I'd earned. And that was go outdoors and recreate. That's what I loved to do. That's what my passion was. And I thought the only way that I could do that was to make lots of money, have lots of free time, and then go and do what I love to do. But when I was at the Outward Bound School, I found out, wow, maybe I can do every day what I really want to do, what my passion is, and earn a living doing that. So I changed my course. I changed the path of what I was going to do. And I decided then that I was going to come back to Canada and start Canada's first Outward Bound School. So I then enrolled in the U of A. Any of you from U of A? I'm sure there must be some people from U of A here. All right, good to see you. My alma mater, yes. All right, good to see you here. So you can see that my path changed dramatically from the University of Ghana, the Nigerian Outward Bound School, and then the U of A where I did my undergraduate and graduate work. While I was there, I decided I've got to go back around the world and look at some of these Outward Bound schools. So I took an 18-month tour around the world and was an instructor at a number of the schools and instructed skiing in Switzerland. I became a little disillusioned when I was at some of these Outward Bound schools as an instructor and felt that I would like to take the principles that I really appreciate from Outward Bound and use it in an educational setting. So I came back to Canada and went to the University of Calgary to get my degree, my diploma, so that I could teach. Following that, I applied to Strathcona-Tweedsmuir School. I'm sure some of you know about the school and the unfortunate avalanche accident that they had a number of years ago. Anyway, when I first went to the school, I said, I would like to come but run a different type of phys ed program for you. I'd like to run activities that are lifelong activities rather than basketball, volleyball, although I am a volleyball coach. I want to teach the students how to participate in different activities. And Strathcona-Tweedsmuir, because I was the first physical educator to ever work there, they allowed me to do that. And it was so exciting to be creative. I'm sure that when you people are involved in programming for your campus rec activities, you must be creative. You've got to think of new ways to entice people to come and participate in your program. And that's the opportunity that I got at Strathcona-Tweedsmuir. I was able to develop a program because I was the first physical educator there. So we did lots of outdoor activities, and it was a lot of fun. One of the things that we did there that it allowed me to do, sorry, I'm a little too close probably, aren't I? One of the things I did there was, because I had grade 1 to 12, we could do segregated and synchronized units throughout the entire schooling of these young people. So for example, what I would do was I would start with canoeing. Canoeing is a passion of mine. I love canoeing. So in elementary school, we had these little gaffers in Voyageur canoes. So they would be learning to paddle, and we could walk up and down the middle of the canoe and hold their hand and teach them how to grip the paddle. And then in junior high, we moved on and we did lake canoeing. Now you say, there's not a lake out in Okotoks, that's right, but I happen to be the manager of the Calgary Polo Club. You know that sport where you sit on a horse and crack a ball? It's sort of like croquet, but a little faster. Happened to be the manager of the Calgary Polo Club, and they needed irrigation. So I said, why don't we build a dam? We'll hold back all that spring runoff water, and then we can water our grounds. Well, guess what? That gave the school, which was on the quarter section right next to the polo grounds, a canoeing lake. So we now had our canoeing lake for our boats. And then in high school, we went to whitewater canoeing because they had the grounding, all right? And we took it one step further, actually, and we had a interscholastic team, the whitewater racing team, that represented the school provincially, nationally, and internationally. And it was just like a football team. We represented the school, we wore the school colors, we were called the Spartans, all of those good things, and we competed and had a lot of fun. So I was very fortunate to be able to link together dreams that I had while I was at Strathcona-Tweedsmuir. After that, I came to the job where I am now, a job that I love so much. I'm at the University of Calgary, and as Dan said, I'm working with coaches and teachers mainly, training them to go out as professionals and contribute, just like you people contribute already in your life. I do some corporate team building downtown, and I do a lot of sport coaching and mentoring. I love it. I love to do what I do. So that's how I got where I am. And I want you this weekend to think about who you are, what you do, what culture you're going to fit into, and then at the end I'm going to challenge you with some challenges as well. So that's what we're going to do. But first of all, I want to say a big thanks to Scott and to David, because the pictures are really theirs. They're not mine. I can't take pictures like they do, but they have taken some fantastic pictures, as you will see. All right. So people often say to me, and I'm sure they say the same thing to you, "Hey, Brad, how are you today?" And I often answer, "I'm living the dream," because I really am living the dream. And one day my wife said to me, she said, "Brad, you shouldn't answer that way." And I said, "Why? I'm really living the dream. That's exactly what I'm doing." And Bonnie said to me, "Brad, you are creating the dream. Your lifestyle is being created by yourself. So each one of you has the same opportunity to develop and create the dream, to follow your desires and your passions." So who are we? All right. No, that's not me. I never was that cute. But all right. Our world is the world of making dreams come true. You, the Campus Rec professionals, are truly innovators. You take your ideas and you make them into reality. We don't have to sell dreams. People have dreams already. What we have to do is sit down and program those dreams into reality. And I'm a big dreamer. I love to say, "Oh, why don't we go to the West Coast and work with the orca whales? Why don't we go down south and swim with the humpbacks? Why don't we go up to the North Pole and trek through the snow?" But you know what? Some of the big dreams that you can actually realize are done in your own backyard. As Dan said in his introduction, I have actually have 6 kids because I'm a volleyball coach. All right? I wanted one complete team. And then, can you believe it, they introduced the libero? And I said, no, 6 is enough. Anyway, I have 6 grandchildren too. So at Christmas, I was fortunate enough to have them all at our house. And that's one of the things we did. We went in the backyard and we built an igloo. And that night, after we built the igloo, my grandson said to me as we snuggled into our sleeping bags for our sleepover in the igloo, he said, "Grandpa, thanks for letting me be an Eskimo." Now, I'm not sure how real Eskimo life is to him, because about midnight he made that dash about 15 meters into the house where hot chocolate was waiting for him, and he slid into bed under an electric blanket. I don't think that's really how Eskimos or Inuit live. But anyway, he realized his dream. And it was right in our own backyard. Often we think so big that we miss what's right there. The dreams that we are able to make real for people in our own backyard so easily. The reality of the present moment, living in the moment, all right? How many times have you heard people say, "One day I'm going to, maybe I will"? You people are able to program programs that make dreams come true today. And this weekend, when you're here, don't go away with just ideas. Go away with ways to make the ideas come true. How are you going to actually put those ideas into reality and make them work? And what could be better than someone that you are working with coming up with a smile like this on their face, all right, as they experience the dream that you have given to them. Of all ages, it doesn't matter. Young people, old people, we all have dreams, and you are the dream enablers. All right? And we are in a privileged position. You know, the fleeting moment of the victory, winning and jumping around and giving high fives and all of that, that goes away. You're right. But this privileged position that you have as Campus Rec professionals, it's the same as coaches, teachers, guides, instructors, mentors. We all share that very, very privileged position of being able to lead people through their dreams. Our job description challenges us to enrich and challenge other lives. We are the lucky ones who get paid to engage clients into their dreams, to show them how to do it, and to help them experience the fullest of life. That's what I do every day. I wake up and I can go and work with people and help them reach their full potential. So, Who are we? All right. We are indeed dream enablers. I want you to think as we go through these, think of how this applies to you. What can you do to enable a dream? All right. We're programmers. We're privileged leaders. And we are professionals who have a passion for living life. In a minute, I'm going to ask you to share with one another a dream that you will have. So you might want to think about that. All right? But for me, I want to share a dream with you that I had, and it became real because of an individual who was able to lead me through my dream, and I was able to experience it. I'm sure most of you know about the killer whales, or they call them orcas, on the West Coast. Were those BC people? Yes. All right. So good for you. So I always had a fascination for whales, and I wanted to have some sort of encounter with whales. So I grabbed my older son, and we went out to Johnson Strait, which is between Vancouver Island and the mainland. Left Telegraph Cove, and it wasn't 5 minutes that we were out of Telegraph Cove in our double kayak, sea kayak, when sure enough, right beside us, whoosh! Often you see with whales, what happens is you hear them blow before you see them because it's so loud. You know that they come to the surface, they exhale, blow out, take a new breath, and then dive down and continue on their trip. Well, we were very fortunate because sometimes you can go on a whale trip and not see whales. I have to say that in our few days out in the water, we encountered over 100 whales. Now, I'm sure some of those whales were the same whales that just kept coming back and forth, you know. And I was, oh, look at where we're going, Brad. You know, I'm so good, I know exactly where the whales are. And I'd actually paid the whales just to keep coming back and forth. Anyway, orca whales. So what we did was we set up our campsite on this point, and we could look south down Johnson Strait and look north. And as soon as we saw a pod of whales coming up or down the strait, we'd jump in our kayak, paddle out, and then sit there and let the whales come to us. And they would come right by us. Whales seem to have a curiosity also for humans. I don't know why, but they seem not to be afraid of us. At one point, there was a pod of about 4 whales, and one of the whales, they were about 30 feet away from us only, about 10 meters. And one whale started spy hopping. Now, spy hopping is when a whale goes straight up and comes straight down. Goes straight up and comes straight down. Quite different than what you've probably seen on TV where they breach. They go up, roll, and crash down. This one did not breach. It was spy hopping. All right. So why do whales spy hop? Well, I'm not sure. But the scientists tell us that they're surveilling their environment, perhaps looking for food, at which point, because whales, killer whales, love seals, I talked to my son and said, whatever you do, just keep talking very loudly and do not grunt like a seal, whatever you do. All right? But that night we went to bed and we were laying in our tent, and all of a sudden we could hear blowing. And usually a whale blows and then continues on its path. But there seemed to be a number of whales blowing and staying in the same position. I'd never seen that before. So I climbed out of my tent, ran down to the waterfront, and sure enough, there were about 5 whales just laying on the surface. There was a full moon behind me, and the spray from their breath was going up into the air, sparkling in the moonlight. It was one of those magical moments that I shared with my son. It was a dream that had come true. The kind of dreams that you can make come true for other people, because that's what you do. That's your job. That's the position that we're in. We are so fortunate. But also, I'm sure you know about humpback whales. And humpback whales travel from the north to the south. They go just like us down to the sun every winter. Actually, they go in the spring. But humpback whales also are very magical. And we would go many times down to, every year we would go to Mexico or Hawaii. And we became very good friends with one of the whale researchers down there, Richard. So we would arrive in Hawaii, and I'd call up Richard, hey, Richard, are you there? No answer. So I assumed he was out in the water. So what I did was we had a little 10-foot Zodiac with a little motor. My brother-in-law and I pumped it up, jumped in it, and went out looking for Richard. Well, we found Richard about 3 miles offshore, off the Maui shore. And he was just sitting there, and we pulled up, and we just sat, and we were chatting and talking, and all of a sudden, sure enough, whoosh, heard the blow of a whale. But it wasn't one whale, it was 3 whales. And they were coming right for us. There was a cow with a calf, a yearling calf, and a male escort. And so the three of them came towards us, and they would just dive slowly underneath us and go under our Zodiac, go around, go circles, and they hung out for about 30 minutes with us. We were so excited and so enthralled. And then what happened was they left. And we were sitting there talking about how exciting it was and everything, and Richard, it was old hat to him, but he was excited too. And sure enough, whoosh, another blow. And here comes another whale. Now, I didn't know, but Richard, as being a researcher, said, Brad, that's about a 35, 40-foot male humpback, and he's trying to entice the female away from her escort. It's kind of the same activities that we humans have on Fridays and Saturday nights. So he did the same thing. He just hung around us, and I was very surprised. At one point, all of a sudden, Richard said, Brad, slip into the water and dive down because the whale is sitting there motionless, singing to the female. So I start taking my shirt off, my sunglasses. My brother-in-law says, Brad, what are you doing? I said, I'm getting in the water. He said, are you crazy? I said, no, I will never have an opportunity like this again as long as I live. He says, what's that whale researcher got in his hand? I said, a video camera. He says, that's right. He just wants this video to go viral of this dumb Canuck who's getting eaten by a humpback. But I knew that I would never experience that again. Excuse me. You see, I was enthralled by Richard's knowledge of whales. He knew far more than I did. He shared that knowledge with me. But you know what it was? It was the trust. Excuse me. Richard had built a trust relationship. He was experienced, he was knowledgeable, he knew what to do, and he instructed me on what to do. But without that trust, without the relationship that I had with Richard, I would never have gotten into the water. And that's so important for us in this business, that we don't only teach technical skills, that we develop relationships, that we build a trust relationship. In my coaching world, we say that if athletes do not trust us, we will never be able to take them to the next level. As we recreate with our clients, unless we can build that trust relationship, we will never be able to take them to a new level. So I encourage you to make that one of your things. All right, so that's my dream. And that's how I realized one of my dreams. So right now, I want you to think of a dream that you have. Of course, in the active living area, something there. And I want you now to stand up. We're not going to do as much as Dan had us doing, but I want you to stand up, find some person in the room, and share that dream with them and why you want to do it. So does everybody understand? You're going to have about 30 seconds, each of you, to stand up, share a dream that you have in the area of active living, and then listen to your partner. Go ahead, stand up and share. Hi. Hi. Good to see you, Daniel. You can tell some of the stories I'm telling. You don't have to sit there. I said, okay, now you're going to finish them for me. Oh, sorry you have to come and listen to me, I guess.
No, I love listening to you.
Good to meet you. I think I've seen you, but I don't know you.
Oh, probably. I've been around active living.
Yeah. I recognize the face, but no clue what your name
No, I
is.
was thinking it.
Sorry about that. How's that? Is that okay? I'm going to stay here more now. Sorry about that.
Oh no, I can move this one a little bit.
Okay.
So you get by.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go that way. No matter what you say.
You can't keep me still. I know.
No, it's not.
Whoop! Whoop! All right, if you'll sit down, please. All right. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Oh, it's good. Now, how come you guys listen to Dom, but you don't listen to me? All right. Thank you. If you keep talking, Dom, does your nose just get longer like Pinocchio? As you, longer you talk? You have to do something. All right. Oh, you guys are big dreamers, I can tell. You had lots to say. Thank you for sharing. You know, if we don't have a dream, where are we going to go? Every day I have a dream. My wife says to me, stop dreaming and start doing. You know? I have so many dreams that she gets tired of hearing them. But it is fun to dream, and I'm glad that you have dreams too. So let's look at what we do. All right. We teach, we instruct, and we guide individuals as they learn new skills or fine-tune the skills that they already have. We provide graduated, sequential learning opportunities for those who desire to learn. You see, once we hit our teens, as you well know, often we're afraid to enter into a new activity because we'll be embarrassed. We don't want to look like the loser. So often we will not start. But Campus Rec, what do? You start beginners, then you have intermediates, then you have advanced. So people can enter in at the level at which they're at. That's a very special feeling, to be with people of like mind and like skill. And you provide that for us. Campus Rec brings together the people who have the same desires, the same willingness to learn. We explore new ideas. We offer possibilities for the curious to explore new activities, the ones that they've only dreamt about doing. Now, I want to know how many people had this dream and shared it with your partner. All right. This is actually our vet school. Yeah. And those cows don't kick, I promise. All right. But we offer opportunities for people to do things that they never thought were possible. And as they do them, they realize, wow, I can do something I never thought was possible. You build confidence in individuals. We create safe learning environments for people to learn how to participate. We teach risk management rather than risk avoidance. Okay? I was leading a backcountry ski class from the university, and we went out in the morning. We spent the morning, doing the snow profiles, doing the transmitter searches, and we were all ready to ski. Went back into the bowl and skied about 1,500 feet of fresh powder, carving through the powder, yipping and yelling, just having the best time. Got to the bottom, put our skins on, climbed up through the trees, decided to have lunch before we did another run. Had lunch, and then we were ready to go again. Well, I was a little worried because I was worried that the sun had maybe changed the profile of the snow while we were doing this. So I said, I want you to stay on the edge of the trees, in the trees, and I'm going to go out and check the stability of the slope. Went out, got about 2 meters from the trees, and all of a sudden, whoop! Oh, my heart just stopped. I turned around and said to the class, thank goodness it didn't move, when I looked up to the top of the bowl and the whole bowl had fractured above me. Yep, I was off and running. I was in the avalanche. I was able to get rid of my skis and my poles, and I had luckily been on some courses about avalanche awareness. And I knew that sometimes you can surf on the front of an avalanche. So I was surfing down the mountain on the front of the avalanche. This is true, by the way. I could tell by your snickers. You think, Brad, what's this story? So I was surfing, and in the morning my wife had said, Brad, if you get caught in an avalanche today, I'm going to be very angry with you. I didn't think it was going to matter at that point because I didn't think I was going to make it. But I saw a tree, and I thought if I could just have slide over to the tree and surf to the tree, I'll grab the tree and save my life. I missed the tree. So as I got closer to the bottom, the snow kept coming up my body, and it was to my shoulders now, and I couldn't move. But I knew that my students had learned to do other rescues. We teach them self-rescues and assisting rescues, right? All of us? So I knew that they could do assisting rescues. Put my hands above my head. I was facing down the slope, and I thought, good, I'll form an air pocket which will give my students a chance to come down and rescue me. I was so fortunate. Most of the snow went down another chute, and I was only buried up to here. You know, I hadn't been afraid at all until that point. I was so focused on what I should do, but now I was terrified. I was absolutely frightened. And I was calling up, don't ski out on the slope, because I was afraid they'd trigger more snow that would come down and bury me, and I was so glad my head was out of the snow. They did ski down. They had to dig me out because it was just like concrete. I could not move, and we walked back up out of the slope. But teaching others the importance of self and assisting rescues. We never want to give people tickets to go and do things without the safety aspect. And you know, I'd never thought about it before then. But maybe one day they're going to have to rescue us. So don't forget to teach them self and assisting rescues. We design fitness programs for all ages and people of all fitness levels. We offer certification for those who are advanced in the skills that they do, so that they can become leaders themselves, all right? And perhaps even in the future follow an occupation because of their certification. We schedule intramurals for those with that competitive attitude, and they want to test the skills that you've taught them in competition. And at the same time, we offer leadership roles to people to be officials and coordinators. You guys, did you ever imagine all these things that you did? It is incredible what you people do in this room. It's amazing. We share knowledge and expertise so that they might be able to go out and teach others. One of the most exciting things that happened with my class this year after I finished a canoeing unit was about 3 of the students came and said, hey, Brad, we'd like to go on a canoe trip this summer. Will you help us organize it? They wanted to go with their friends on a canoeing trip and teach them what they had learned. At Strathcona Tweedsmuir, one of the things that we did was we did a rappel off the side of a cliff. But we started at the school. And we'd go up in the roof, we'd secure our ropes, get the safety in place, belay and all of that. And we would rappel down the side of the school. One of the most exciting things was as you rappelled down the side of the school, you knew that a classroom was going on over there. So you just pendulum over and wave at everybody to go back. And the teachers would get so angry. But at the end of learning to do it at the school, we would go out to an 80-foot cliff and rappel off a cliff. One of the neatest things for me was, as you know, in private schools, many of the kids come from upper-class wealthy families. And guess what? When you're on the top of that cliff and there's only one rope that stretches a little bit when you lean back and you look straight down at 80 feet, doesn't matter how much money daddy's got in the bank. It doesn't matter how much influence mom and dad pull. Right now, it's you and you only. And it was such a wonderful experience for them to get through that and realize that they could do it. So one day at the school on a Friday, a student came to me and said, Brad, I'd like to take home a climbing rope, a couple of them for the weekend. I said, well, sure, but what are you going to do? Well, we're going to do some rappelling. I'm going to teach someone how to rappel. So I said, well, I think you better take the helmets too. You know, we've talked about rock and things. So I think you should take the helmets. Oh, no, sir, we don't need the helmets. I said, are you sure you don't need the helmets? Where are you going to rappel? He said, well, we live on a farm. I'm going to take the ropes home and teach my dad to rappel off the silo at our farm. What a wonderful thing that a kid can teach the father how to do something. Amazing. And we introduce people to skills that can help them lead to a more balanced life. For me, as Dan said, I've coached at a very elite level and been very fortunate with the national team to coach pro overseas. But that is one aspect of my life, that competitive aspect. And I love the competition. I love competing in front of 25,000 people. I love the pressure of that. But on the other hand, I've got to have a balanced life. So recreation provides that balance for me. For you, try to make sure that you have balance in your life. Have things that offset one another. The competition is offset by a quiet day on the lake, okay? Whether I'm rowing or paddling. We're very fortunate to live very close to North Glenmore Lake, so within 5 minutes we can be out in North Glenmore Lake skiing. Or I've taken up carving, and one of the most exciting things for me was to go to the West Coast and live with the Haida natives up in the Gwaii Haida, as they say, and in the Queen Charlottes, and carve with them every day, and then bring back a yellow pole and carve that pole, which stands in our backyard now. But I urge you to make sure that you find balance in your life. Recreation, competition, things that you can do. It will help you live a lot longer. And so we rejoice in the moments of victory, okay? We love that exhilaration of reaching our goals. It celebrates the culmination of the process. All that painstaking planning that you've done, the execution of a successful journey. And this summer, or this fall, I had the opportunity to work with another coach friend of mine and mentor that coach. Now, I'm not sure who learned more. I was supposed to be the mentor, but I think I walked away learning more than he did. But this, at the end, I asked him to give me some feedback, and this is what he wrote. And knowledge and experience, for us, those are the tools in our toolbox. We utilize recreational activities to accomplish personal transformation. We go beyond the physical to ignite the emotional. Our Creator placed us on this earth to use the talents that we have to serve others. So I would encourage each one of you, I know you have technical skills, but don't forget to create relationships with the people that you work with. That is what they will remember, the caring relationship that you have with them. So we teach skills. We have leadership opportunities. We run intramurals. We run fitness classes. Curiosity and exploration for people who want to try new activities. Risk management, certification, balanced lifestyle. Those are some of the things that we do as professional recreational people. So what kind of culture do we have where we work? And I think that culture is something that we talk about, but we don't pay enough attention to. Even in the sporting world with elite teams, it's very, very important that we create a culture. And the culture is who we are, what we're known for, and what makes us different. Now, all of us work within educational institutions. So how do we fit? How do we best integrate academics and recreation for our students? And, as Dan said, for the extended communities that we serve. As a former Dino coach, I realize that it's a very small percentage of student athletes who get to actually participate in interscholastic sports. But Campus Rec meets the need of thousands of people, students who wish to participate and become active in their lives. We find strength in diversity. Honoring and celebrating diverse gifts builds a team of immense strength. One of the most important tasks I have as a team coach is to identify the gifts that each of my players has and then place them in a position to utilize those gifts. So for you in your Campus Rec departments, identify what your gifts are. Utilize your gifts and find a niche for yourself. Find where you can contribute to the team to make it a better team. We are compassionate, and we're also humorous. Once again, as a coach, there are often times that are very tense. And one of the things that we try to do is release that tension and maybe be a little bit humorous. So let me explain how that happened one time with me when I was guiding. So the capstone event for our canoeing was to canoe the Ram River. Have any of you been out to the Ram? Yes, it's quite an extreme river, isn't it? 120-foot waterfalls, grade 6 water that you have to portage around, log jams, huge canyon walls with the river flowing through with big rapids. Anyway, that was the capstone event that we did with our students. It was very tense. So I was in the lead canoe, and I had a student in my bow. So we're going down, and I say to him, well, we're going to tuck into this eddy and wait for the rest of the group to come down and catch up to us. And as we tucked into the eddy, I saw this log beside me, and it had moss on it that was moving around. I took my paddle, I pushed the log down, and up came a black bear. It was a bear. I couldn't believe it. Now, I'm not sure if the bear drowned or if it was killed from falling off the cliff. I'm not sure, but it was a recent kill because the bear was not bloated. So I yelled to the student, grab the canoe, secure the canoe. And I grabbed the bear and I pulled the bear out of the water, all right? So then the next canoe started to come down, so I grabbed the bear and I got the bear on top of me like this. And I'm wailing around with the bear and I'm going, help, help! Well, the next canoe with the two students, I could just hear them. Kilv's being attacked by a bear. Don't you dare stop. Paddle! Well, that's one sure way of failing, I'll tell you. Anyway, so sometimes as leaders and guides, we have to be humorous as well and grab those opportunities. So how would you define the culture of your department, of the people that you work with, your work environment? So we do have a very, very important role within academic institutions. When I first came to the University of Calgary, half of my job was coaching and half was teaching. Now it's teaching. But I recognize, having been a former campus rec guide, the importance of what you people offer to students. It's such a wonderful gift that you bring to them. Let's honor and celebrate diversity. Rejoicing in a team member's success and putting team ahead of self. Interesting statistic. Remember when Miami Heat won the NBA championship? Well, after they won, LeBron James was interviewed. And he mentioned the word I 18 times. 18 times. He mentioned the word we, never. Chicago Blackhawks, Jonathan Taves, after they won the Stanley Cup, he talked about we 14 times. He never mentioned I. Putting team ahead of self. So, I want to challenge you in 3 areas. I want you to live in the moment. Love the process. Love what we do today. Don't always be waiting for tomorrow. Enjoy today. Be curious and exploratory. Never stop looking for new events in your life and never let them go by without trying them. Be humble and vulnerable. You know, this is one of the most beautiful human characteristics that anyone can have, especially talented leaders. Be willing to be uncomfortable. You know, stepping out of the comfort zone so that we can grow ourselves. And never lose the desire to learn and grow. Look at failure as an opportunity to grow. So many times we look at failure as, oh no, I failed again. Instead of saying, wow, what can I learn from this? As a coach, you know, we don't learn that much when we win. When we lose, we often investigate why. So don't be afraid to accept failure as a learning opportunity. As a leader in your department, always be prepared. Be passionate and inspirational. I asked my dad once, who was a coach himself, I said, Dad, how do you motivate people? And he said, son, don't worry about motivation, inspire them, and you will never have to worry about motivation. Be compassionate, humorous, and patient. Thirst for knowledge yourself. Develop interpersonal skills. They are as important as technical skills. And always work on your own skills. As a colleague, honor the diversity within your department. collaborate, and be supportive. Be action-oriented. Take the ideas from this weekend and put them into action. Sympathetic joy. You know what that is? That's when you do something, I'm happy for you. Instead of saying, oh no, how come not me? You know, being happy, sympathetic joy for others, and the ability to empower others. We use that word, but how often do we really do it? Very important. So, my challenge to you is, and I know you've probably seen this many times, but I love it. It's a favorite saying of mine. And I would encourage you, as you go back to your campus rec departments, to do that. Unleash your passion and leave a trail. I'm going to do one more thing with you, and I know that, Dom, do we have time for it? Yeah. Okay. All right. I want you to think of a challenge. I want one challenge that you will tackle in the next month. As a student, it could be a development challenge. As a colleague, it could be something that we're going to do with somebody else in our department. As a professional, it could be some way we're going to improve our skills, interpersonal or technical. I want you to think of a challenge that you will tackle in the next month. So in the next month, at the end of February, you got to have her done. All right? And what we're going to do is we're going to have some fun. I hope it's fun. We're going to stand up again, and we're going to find a partner. And I'm going to move this, and we're going to form a big circle around this whole chair ensemble. And when you get, Bonnie, Bonnie, do you mind doing this? Can you come over here, please? Actually, this is my wife, Bonnie. What? Did you hear what she just said? You want to kiss me? Only in your dreams. I am a dream enabler. Yes, all right. Okay. All right. You're going to face your a partner, whoever it is, with your right hand. I'm going to start some music, some good old Calgary Western music, and we're going to do a grand right and left. So now, if I'm facing this way, I'm going to continue to go counterclockwise. Bonnie's going to continue to go clockwise. Right hand, left hand, right hand. Good. Now, the music's going to be playing. When the music stops, you're going to have to share the challenge that you are going to undertake with whoever you are with. You're going to stand there. And then what's going to happen is I'll start the music again. Now, as you move around, there's probably some people in this room you don't know. Don't be afraid to say, hey, hi, I'm Brad. Who are you? And this is a good opportunity to get to meet some people that you wish you would know. All right, are you willing to do it? Let's go. All right, now that music. If we could set that music. I should turn this off.